Yo, yo, yo. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Y'all come on in. Little holiday special, man. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to all. Hopefully everybody is having an excellent, awesome holiday season. I just don't mean to bother everybody, but just had a few holiday things I want to talk about surrounding the Atlanta Falcons. So again, Merry Christmas and y'all come on in, man. Not sure if my man Smitty gonna join me, but if you're joining from Smitty's channel, salute to you. And we're gonna have a little conversation. A few topics I got. And I wanna, bring it to y'all's attention, talk to y'all about it, and see what we can get out of it. So again, Merry Christmas. And if you're watching from my channel, again, welcome back to A1 Forever Sports. But yeah, man, definitely want to get into this very early. Let's see, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Robert Blackman was good. Silk Legacy, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Yeet, get some. Jay Howard, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everybody, man. I really hope everybody, has gotten everything that they wanted for Christmas. Dads, I hope y'all got more than just socks. Y'all know what's going on with that. I hope y'all got more than socks, But all in all, man, hopefully, everybody was able to have, awesome time with family. And that's what it's really about. And just, sharing that love and spreading that love around. The presents and everything are nice too, but I think for us guys, the older we get, and especially, for those who have children, it's more so for them, more than for the guys, But let's get into a few topics, man. Let's get in. Let's start with the elephant in the room, if you ask me, and that is our quarterback, who is right now on injured reserve, Michael Penix Jr. And shout out to Taryn Wack, man. She was definitely at the press conference with Raheem Morris. For those who haven't seen it, I know I didn't even watch it myself, but there are some notes that I want to discuss, and I want to discuss with you guys. Starting with this, Falcons head coach Raheem Morris says Michael Penix is back at the facility, starting his rehab. That's some good news right there, people. Discussions are moving forward, have begun. His whole process has started as far as what he's going to do. His calendar is laid out. Okay, so that's a good thing. The Falcons, they have a plan in place. Raheem will also move on, going on to say on the timetable for his return, nothing I really want to share, to be honest. But yes, we have some pretty significant markers and some checkpoints. Okay, so sounds like they have a plan in place. Falcons, said he also talked about the return on the timetable. I would say, as far as we know of, he's on schedule and he's in great spirits. And my thing is about the great spirits, that's important right there because going through this injury, he's had 5 season-ending injuries. So you think that would take a toll on the mental, right? And this whole segment right here is, surrounded about Michael Penix starting his rehab. That's a great thing, but what is the realistic timetable? And how is his mental? How is his psyche overall going through a fifth season ending injury? Also, seeing, seeing the Falcons, the guys flourishing right now, winning games with a more experienced quarterback, somebody that knows the system, somebody that is also a player coach in Kirk Cousins. Now, Kirk Cousins, we know his best days are behind him, but right now he is being serviceable. Kirk's been keeping it clean for the most part. I know he had an interception last game, but for the most part, Kirk's been kind of like keeping it in the road, and that's really what you want. But Michael Penix, dealing with the injuries and being in the great spirits, you want to hear that. And he knows he has an uphill battle again to climb. But sometimes, that can kind of forge a man. And I'm wondering if he's going to be able to come back and still be able to provide that starting quarterback capabilities that we seen him display in college. The reasons why we took him, as an eighth overall in that draft. It's gonna be quite interesting to see. I mean, I want to know you guys how you guys are feeling, and want to know you guys' thoughts. Like, what you guys think about how Michael Penix is dealing with the whole ordeal of seeing the Falcons like move on without him, having to have that rehabilitation right now, dealing with that injury yet again. But this time, different knee, but still, yet again that process. Like, it's either going to forge him into a better quarterback, I believe, and a better football player, or it could tear him down a little bit. It could like regress him a little bit. But you see that Raheem Morris is in. It sounds like he's in favor of Michael Penix. They have a plan in place for him, and we can all. I think. Okay, I think most of us can agree. We can say about. Let me be fair. About 70% of the fan base overall probably feels like Raheem Morris should be gone. And I'm included in that. But for those who still believe in Michael Penix, like myself, and think that he still can come back and bounce back from all this and be forged into a better quarterback and a better person, what does it say if Raheem Morris is moved on from the Terry Fontenot, just that whole breakup happening, and a new coach comes in? They may not believe in Raheem. I mean, excuse me, believe in Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot's pick in Michael Penix. And one thing about it, another thing that can stunt your growth is somebody that doesn't believe in you because they didn't pick you. You're not our guy. So we're going to really try to move on from you. So is it really like beneficial for Michael Penix and for those who still believe in Michael Penix for Raheem to still be here? Even if Zach is gone, regardless of Zach is here or not, Raheem was still going to be the head. If the Raheem is still the head coach, does that benefit Michael Penix because he was their pick? But how would that benefit the fan base, the 70% that want him gone? Whew, but it's tough, right? It is tough. Merry Christmas, T. Terry. What's happening, family? Merry Christmas, family. What we got here? With the experience of Michael Penix dealing with his injuries, he should be back soon. I hope he ignored the noise and stay focused. He got so much potential. Amen, amen. I mean, at the end of the day, Michael Penix, we have seen like the capabilities there. We know he has things to work on. We knows that he also is not getting like the best tutelage from anyone that is necessarily brought along a rookie quarterback. Everybody really, again, has experience with everybody. That's mostly dealing with veterans. That's mostly from what I see. And he needs somebody that can bring him along and and help enhance his own capabilities right now. Now, Michael, he has to do some things on the outside, and hopefully he's still working on himself as well, without anybody telling him what to do, how to do it, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody does their professionalism different. Everybody works different. So, I mean, that right there is going to be on him. Can nobody, do that? But still, Penix fundamentals like footwork seems so far away from a good NFL player. And I can respect that because, yes, there is times where he out there looking like he has happy feet or he out there trying a new dance move. But also, you got to think about the offensive line. Offensive line has been a little up and down. Now, it has looked better. I mean, of course, outside of that whole crazy situation down there in Tampa, my goodness, 19 penalties. Like everybody you just put that on everybody. I know there was certain guys that had more penalties than others, but still, overall, you just put that an ultimate team disappointment. But still, overall, even when he went down on the play where he went down on, the offensive lineman got beat, and they got to Michael Penix. Next thing you know, we're in this situation. So you think about it too. Yes, he does have the happy feet, but Silk Legacy says he was put in the game too early. Huh. That's interesting because you think about it at the end of the last year, that was 3 games though, fam. Like we had to put him in because by that time we ain't even had the lead in the NFC South no more. Like we tried to roll with Kurt, or should I say, the coaching staff rolled with rolled with Kurt, and it got worse and worse. There were games to where we could have really won. That Minnesota game, we was right there, but you put that more so at the end of the game. Kind of like defensive execution. It wasn't there. Guys getting beat, guys getting lost in that secondary. So that didn't help at all. But we was tied in that game, even though where Kurt was having like the struggles. Like he felt it in that game. And of course, emotional things can like wield a man as well. Coming back to Minnesota for the first time, a place that he actually, was beloved for quite some time. So done some things. But either way it goes, like still, like Michael Penix. Again, I still believe in Michael Penix. But again, I ask y'all, is it beneficial for Michael Penix to still have Raheem outside of a new coach? Or do you guys feel like a new coach will see the potential that Michael Penix has and then possibly still believe in him and keep him? That's such a tough call right there. I love this right here. Falcons need to consider a change in strength and conditioning coachings. I don't think Braylon Trice has seen one regular season snap. No, he hasn't. Remember, Braylon Trice went on IR before the season even started. Well, excuse me, I think he was IR designated to return, I believe, but eventually ended up going ultimately to IR. It was quite, you hate to see it because he was trying to get some snaps in preseason, but you know how those ACLs are. I mean, look at Kyle Pitts. It took him like a season and a half, really 2 seasons to even look how he's looking right now. Being able to run and go, be able to cut different things like that. So you think about that, those ACLs, man. I'm just saying. Braylon Trice, he was trying it out and he's missing the entire season. So I'm not sure if the Falcons are going to look to move on from him, but it'll be interesting to see. But this is not the first time the strength and conditioning coaching has been at question. It hasn't just been this year. It's been multiple years. And we have this whole new facility and everything like that. Then you have the outside noise of former Falcons, talking about how the strength and conditioning sucks. Now you take that with a grain of salt because I mean Mike Davis didn't really do much here. We'll put that out there too. But still, you just hear that, and that's just not a good thing that you want to hear about that strength and conditioning coaching, which also I love that comment because it really like swings it right back into what I want. Another question I wanted to ask: do you guys trust that strength and conditioning coaching with Michael Penix to be able to keep him on schedule and work with Michael Penix to try to make sure you minimize or zero out those setbacks that possibly may happen? Do you guys trust the Falcons coaching strength and conditioning staff with Michael Penix? That's I can understand that. I could understand that, family. Joe Gotti said nope. Merry Christmas, family. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Oh boy, yeah, I feel you on the preseason stuff, man. We should have played in the preseason. I definitely feel that, man. So again, man, we coming back to Michael Penix, man. These are some real questions that we're going to be like serious questions. We're going to be talking about this more and more as more information comes out. We can start to kind of like formulate kind of like where this is going. But you also see and hear, as I was saying, like there's some things that Raheem Morris doesn't want to share right now about Michael Penix, the possible return on the timetable on the return. Like he doesn't want to really comment on that right now. So again, us Falcon fans were kind of like left out to kind of like wonder and kind of have these discussions, even if it's multiple times, about when Penix could possibly be back. What's the timetable? And will he be ready? Like, my thing is, it's one thing for a guy to come back, but a guy can come back at 70%. Like, will Michael Penix be 100%? Will Michael Penix go through all the necessary drills that he needs to go through? But we already know, let's keep it real, family. We already know we can put him through all the drills we want to. But ain't nothing like getting on that field, going against somebody who has pure malice on their mind to come at you and get you down on the ground no matter what. That's that first hit, that first series, those first couple of games. That's when you're going to really see if the quarterback is there, if he's back, if he's cool, if he's 100, all that good stuff. It's not going to be necessarily in training camp. Guys can look good in training camp, but you can also put like a little red jersey or yellow jersey on the guy. And guess what? Guys know that it's got to be caution. Also, the joint practices, they are right, but they still not fully a game. Something like preseason, you know? And the thing about it is, with Michael Penix injuries, let's say he's ready for preseason. Let's do some hypothetical right quick since we're on Michael Penix. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, somehow, some superhuman way, Michael Penix is in training camp and he goes into preseason. Who's to say that he's even going to play in preseason due to the injuries? But a lot of Falcon fans are going to say that he needs to play in preseason because he hasn't had the snaps. And it's like, it's a catch-22 because it's a tug of war, because you got one side that, yeah, we need to protect him. I mean, the man had all these surgeries on his knees, but the contract is still rookie, and you still can possibly navigate that rookie contract and still build around the team if the quarterback is able to get healthy. You can fortify that offensive line possibly a little bit better, and you also get some receivers that can get off the line quick, fast, or a quick outlet for Michael Penix. You can build the offense, but ultimately, who's going to be the coach? Will Michael Penix get those snaps? Will Michael Penix be ready? And again, when guys have pure malice against you, that's when I really feel like you can really see where a guy is. It's not those joint practices and training camps. I've been there. Again, it's just not what you really need. And again, it's not also guys that are getting paid to come after you and being in a real game. So it's different. It really is. Say how y'all feel. Say how y'all feel about the consulting firm blank is hiring. Gerald, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of like, I want to make sure I'm saying the right words. That's what's the holdup. But ultimately, it's like he's done this before. So he's had them help with hiring on the soccer side of things with Atlanta United. So I mean, they've also done some things with marketing, help hire CEOs. I know back in like 2022. So like dealing with these firms and everything, like he's done it before. Now, will it actually have anything to do with Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot? That's hard to see and hard to decide. We really don't know. But it's going to be interesting because if it's during a wellness check, regardless, if they got to do a full wellness check, it's got to be from top to bottom. That's how I look at it. It's got to be from top to bottom. But also, I mean, the wellness check is kind of like obvious to see, but at the same time, it is none of our organizations to run. We have our personal feelings. They feel differently and they operate differently. And at the same time, we've seen how our owner operates. He does most of the time, get like different little outside help and just second opinions, third opinions, different things. So it doesn't really surprise me, but it kind of like worries me, and it also worries me with the decision, because if someone says, yeah, man, you need to tear all this down, or you need to get rid of this specific person or that specific person. Will you do it? If somebody says, "Hey, man, all right, yeah, you need to get rid of your coach," will you do it? If somebody says, "Hey, man, you may need to just move Rich McKay to just one side if you're going to keep him, and make sure you keep him out of all football operations," like seriously, not just saying that, will you do that? If somebody says, "Okay, your president is this, your president is that," will you do that? Anything other than, "Oh, everything is fine, you just need a little tweak here, a little tinker there, and you'll be a well-oiled machine." So, like, I'm worried about that. Just, to be fair, I am definitely worried about that. So Raheem doesn't want to share because he doesn't know. Hey, man, you got something, man. I feel you. I feel you, Joe. I feel you. I definitely feel you, man. But at the end of the day, like, and Smitty has said this on many accounts, and he knows because he's been on this earth definitely longer than me, and he's definitely big bro. So, like, what he said, like, when you get older and these people, like, they have these circles that they are circle of trust, and they normally don't like to break that circle of trust, and creature of habit. They kind of become more so of a creature of habit again, going back to the hiring of the firms, going back to, having this guy beside me, going back to just kind of like circulating same decisions, same personnel. I mean, it kind of like, what I'm saying, really speaks for itself when you think about it. But last thing I got to say, because I do have a few more topics actually I want to talk to y'all about. But last thing I got to say about Michael Penix, and this is a question for everybody who is watching this right now. Do you still believe in Michael Penix? Or are you one of those people who are absolutely already out on Michael Penix because you knew what you were getting, that he was already semi-damaged goods? Let's keep it real. We knew that. But the fact that he wasn't able to make it through a full season already, believe it or not, have some people already out on Michael Penix. Now, things happen to guys, and again, you already know you had some damaged goods to begin with, but that potential and the football player that he could be is just so great. You just can't overlook it. The talent is there. As long as he's able to put it all together and have the right people around him that can put it all together, or excuse me, assist him with putting it all together. So, do you guys still believe in Michael Penix? Are you guys out? I'm gonna break it down to the numbers. Like, if you still believe in QB1, then put a 1 in the chat. If you're out on Michael Penix, then go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. But I'll give you a little window. If you are skeptical, you just kind of like don't know, you're in between, go ahead and put a 3 in the chat. So we'll be fair. You believe, give me a 1. You out, give me a 2. Kind of in between, kind of on the fence. You want to see how things are going to kind of progress, give me a 3. Okay, we got some ones. We got some ones. Brock says 1. Player stats, what's happening? He says 1. What is it? I want to say, I was about to say Machiavelli, but M level says 1. Let's see. Ant Wright says 1. Let me see. Joe Gaddy says 1. And let me see. Jay Howard says, I'm out if he can only play pistol. Hey, he's definitely going to have to play more than pistol. I mean, honestly, because if you want to become a better quarterback, and like I'm assuming like every quarterback wants to come into this and be like one of the top tier quarterbacks. I'm not even going to say the greatest of all time. I'll just say one of the top tier quarterbacks. So in order to do that, I do believe you're going to have to do more than just be in the pistol. But we'll see what happens when he comes back. Uh, hey, how you feeling? How you feeling? Joyously hopeful. I love that name right there. She says 3. Silk said good. He's a good person, but he's accident prone. So 3. That, like I said, at the end of the day, I really feel like however you feel right now about Michael Penix, if you still believe in him, like I do, because I'm on that train too, to still believing in Michael Penix, and so that contract is still there, but it's just for Michael. I don't want him to rush it, but I do understand because if you miss the entire season, then that's already year 3, and you be coming into year 4 really having to step up and show what you got because you only have one more year left if it's picked up. Just being honest. Just being honest. All right. Next one I got for you. Let me make sure everything, because I got something for you. Okay, so yeah, I got it right here. Had to make sure I had that. So the topic of this one is Tyler Allgeier forgotten. Tyler Allgeier forgotten. Now, Tyler Allgeier, come on now. We know who this guy is. The bowling ball, the wrecking ball. Guys hate when they see him coming downhill with a full head of steam because they know, all right, it's either one or two things are about to happen here. I'm either going to go ahead and try to go head on with this guy and see if I can get him to the ground, or I need to make a business decision because he's about to run me slap over. Oh gosh, he's on the way. Oh gosh, he's getting closer. I got to make a decision. Just like those are the DBs and even some of the linebackers. So Tyler Allgeier, of course, first season with the Atlanta Falcons, 1,000 yards, averaging 4.9 yards per carry. Had only 3 touchdowns, but still we know he was getting up and down the field and had 16 receptions out of 210 attempts. Now, he hasn't crossed the 200 mark on attempts, since then. Of course, Bijan Robinson has been here. And 2 years in a row, he crossed the 600-yard mark, nearly getting close to 723 with 683. But then he had 644 and also 475 currently this year. Now, last season, he still averaged 4.7 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns, 13 receptions. He has 13 receptions again already this year. And this year, 8 touchdowns for Tyler Allgeier with 3.8 yards per carry. And that's like, again, he has only 126 attempts so far. Now, of course, I expect him to get right around or maybe exceed that 2024 total, which is 137. So with him being at 126 right now. But he's definitely not going to get close to that 186 or, of course, 210. But my thing is for Tyler Allgeier also, let me bring it up for you. Falcons offensive coordinator Zach Robinson on running back Tyler Allgeier. He gets forgotten sometimes, but then he has a game like that where he has an impact, finishing runs. He's so strong at the point of attack. He's got great vision as a runner. He's incredibly valuable to the offense. And I would definitely have been saying that. I have definitely been saying that. I know I've been on the Tyler Allgeier train since we've drafted the guy because for me, it's just the style of running back, and I love what Bijan Robinson can bring. Like sometimes, like just sitting back watching that guy, he just wows you, and it's just absolutely incredible. You can't deny Bijan at all. You'll be a fool. I mean, just keeping it real. You'll be a fool. But on the flip side of it, just on the style of running back, Tyler Allgeier is one of those guys, again, that makes guys make business decisions. Make guys get out the way. Make guys remember. Tyler Allgeier is a guy that turns you, like, both guys turn you into a highlight. So I mean, regardless, you sports center with this backfield. That's the thing about it. Like this two punch tandem right here with Bajan and Tyler. Your sports center, because Bajan gonna put his foot in the ground, or Bajan gonna hit a spin move. Bajan gonna set you up and then take off, accelerate against you in short spaces, making men miss and all that. Like you're a highlight. But then you have a guy behind him that when he gets a full head of steam, like he's saying, strong at the point of attack and also finishing runs. Yeah, it's a reason why he has an angry run shirt. Talking about Tyler Algier, because he will finish you, and that's what's it. I love that. Coming from a running back, and again, Tyler Algier being a former linebacker, playing both sides of the field, like he got what it takes. And it's really like troubling, that he does get forgotten really in this offense. But you look at the Atlanta Falcons and then the wins that we do have, and outside of about 2 wins, because of course again the Buffalo game. No, was it the Buffalo game? Let me make sure. Here. No, the Buffalo game. So the Buffalo game, he had 10 attempts. But again, another Bajan game. And you look at the Cardinals game, he had 16 attempts. You look at the Buccaneers game, he had only 2 attempts, but that game, that was the Bajan and Kyle Pitts game. Those 2 guys were going off. You still would like to see Tyler get more attempts and punish the Buccaneers even more. But at the end of the day, we still won the game. You take dubs. Again, against the Seahawks, he had 11 attempts. Yes, we did lose that game, but the second half, we got smacked around so much and so many different miscues, and Seahawks took advantage. It didn't even matter. It negated it anyway. And we was also, kind of getting stifled a little bit. So we had to go away from the run game. And especially when they kept putting up points, you know how it goes. But also, the Aints game, 12 attempts. Also going back to the Bills, 10 attempts. You go to the Commanders game, 16 attempts. My point is, so you go another 16, another 10. My point is, in all the wins that we have more so most of the time a balanced attack. And when you involve Tyler Algier, the Falcons normally are at least right there in it at the end, or they win the game for the most part. What's happening, Raymond? How you feeling? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Last thing what he was saying, he says it's coaching fault that didn't develop him more than the pistol. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Nando says, well, why he can't get 15 carries then? And for your OC saying he gets forgotten, I'm just shaking my head. I know, Nando, like that's my point. I'm saying, like, my point has been already, and it goes back for Kyle Pitts too. If you don't have somebody that can utilize guys on a consistent level and realize that sometimes you're going to have one back out there more so than the other. Now, I will say there has been times to where Zach has been able to do that, like realize, hey man, Tyler right now is on fire. Let him get a few more snaps and also punish the defense. So I can't sit here and just say I haven't seen it. It's just I don't see it enough. Like there's times where we really have them on the ropes with the run game sometimes, and then we will go away from it and it'll stall a drive, or a penalty will happen, stall a drive. Now, that's more so on the players, but still, like it's like something will happen and you have to go away from that run game. So like what he was saying, it's troubling. Bijan Robinson, generational running back, he's Marshall Faulk 2.0, future Hall of Fame talent. And there's no denying that. There's no denying that, T Terry. But my whole argument about Tyler Algier is he is already a guy who has ran for 1,000 yards. He's a bruiser. He's a guy that I'm being selfish here. I'm being selfish. He's a guy that I want to keep in an Atlanta Falcons uniform. And it's not just because, I like the guy. I like what his game and I like what he can bring for the Atlanta Falcons. And also, we want to keep Bijan Robinson healthy, right? Well, one way you do that is you kind of split the carries, or at least whoever the hot hand is. I'm not mad at you about riding the hot hand because there have been times where it's just like, hey, man, keep giving Seven the ball. So I'm not mad about you riding the hot hand, but like on a consistent level, you still should be able to utilize two capable backs on a consistent level. I'm telling you, man, like I want an offensive coordinator that makes a defense get tired of seeing Bijan and Tyler all the time. Like, man, who are you giving the ball to today? Who you giving it to this time? Here come 2-5. Man, there goes 7. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, they already somewhat do it, but I just want to, what I'm saying, kill them with kindness. I just want to every time. I just want to kill them with that two-headed monster. And Bijan Robinson is an excellent Hall of Fame type talent, but I want to keep that Hall of Fame type talent healthy. And I know there's no way to ultimately fortify anybody, from getting injured. And injury can happen on any play. But again, having those two guys together is just the best back duo, best, however you want to say it, however you want to look at it. They're just the best tandem if you look at it. Yes, I understand they got Jahmyr Gibbs and my man's David Montgomery up there with the Lions. I get it. But I'm telling you, man, when these two guys are clicking on all cylinders, it's really hard to stop those two. It's really hard to stop our run game without stopping ourselves. That's really when you really see it. We'll stop ourselves. Merry Christmas. Let's get it. How you feeling, family? How you feeling? Let's go. Smooth Smitty, Chris A1 seasons greetings. Yeah, man. Smitty, he ain't in here with me right now today. I'm pretty sure he's somewhere chilling, eating some hot wings. You know how Smitty do. Y'all know how Smitty do. But yeah, man. But again, I just want to keep Bijan healthy. And I also want to give Tyler his touches. But we'll keep it real. Yeah, man, Tyler deserves better. Tyler deserves a number 1 spot. He does. But I just want to somehow, some way, be able to keep these two together. Because sometimes when you just have these backs that can just do multiple things, and we're a run first team, honestly, especially with the quarterback situation still up in air. You don't know when Michael Penix is going to be back necessarily. You really can't keep Kirk Cousins. You need to save that 22 mil because that 57 mil dead cap. Whoo! And I don't even want to entertain the thought of extending or anything like that, restructuring anything like that. Like, I don't. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't want to think about any restructures or anything like that. So if you're in that type of situation and you're possibly going to have to go get a bridge quarterback maybe anyway, which you probably need to go get that no matter what the timetable for Michael Penix is, you probably still need to go get that anyway. Somebody that can back up Michael Penix at a different price range so you can be able to go do other things and pay other players. But man, just a thought. Just a thought about that. I just think you should be able to keep both of the running backs. But I understand that Tyler does deserve that number 1 spot. He does. Oh man, what else I got for you? Yeah, because I got something else for you. Winding down, though. We're winding down. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this right here. In this segment, you might as well call this the Doorless Dominate segment. Brandon Dorless, I'm telling you, man, like that kid, scouting him and seeing what he can be able to do. He going back to Oregon, a guy that was moved up and down the line, being able to come off the edge, being able to push up the middle, being able to help reestablish the line of scrimmage, getting off, just disrupting offensive lines. I had a feeling about that guy, and so did my brother Berto. Shout out to him, salute. So we was heavy on that kid, and seeing him and what he's doing right now, and having 8 sacks right now, and it's been the whole thing, and people are going back and forth about the Grady Jarrett thing and saying that, oh, Grady Jarrett had 7.5 sacks. That's the most sacks he had in his career. And Brandon Dorless has already eclipsed that. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. But can we give Grady Jarrett just a little grace? Just a little bit of grace? Because let's just be honest. Grady Jarrett didn't have James Pierce Jr. next to him. He didn't have Jalen Walker back there. He didn't have Leonard Floyd. You know, just saying, like, some of the lines that Grady Jarrett had to play on, and he was undersized. We know that too. So, like, just some of the lines that Grady Jarrett had to play with, he was definitely the best person getting pressure for such a long time for the Atlanta Falcons. You still even remember his performance, in the Super Bowl. He had a pretty good performance there. And, moving on to the next season, yeah, he kept on being like productive. We just didn't have a lot of people around him. And in the season that he tore his ACL, he was being productive. Then boom, the injury happens, and he hasn't been the same Grady. You look at it, doing a tale of the tape between the two right now. Brandon Dorless has played 2 more games than Grady, started more games than Grady, 8-4, 8 sacks to 1 sack. Well, this is just 2025 now. 14 solo tackles and 12 assisted, combined 26 for Dorless. Just gonna say a combined total of 33 for Grady Jarrett. Okay, 10 tackles for loss, Brandon Dorless, and that's another thing that he did well back at Oregon. Thing about it is Brandon Dorless played 57 games in college, so that's a lot of games, and that's pretty polished. So all you need to do is just get them with the right people that can unlock them. Oh, thank God for Nate Ollie and Jeff Obert, and just that coaching staff being able to get the best out of these guys. Yeah, you redshirted them for a year, but Grady Jarrett was still here. You wasn't gonna put him in front of Grady off the first year. I mean, I just didn't see that happen. But now Grady is out of the way, and Brandon Dorless is here right now to stay. And everything that Brandon Dorless is doing is more than a-okay. This man is, like I said, 8 sacks right now, and is being a difference maker up the middle on loop stunts, helping other guys get out there. But I just want to give like Grady Jarrett just a little bit of grace, because Grady did some good things here. And for a lot of years, again, he was our only pressure. Where the pressure coming from? Wherever Grady at. so, so like, so salute to Brandon Dorless and everything that he's doing in his first year, starting for the Atlanta Falcons. But, let's not forget, Grady was one of those guys for us, seriously. T. Terry said Brandon Dorless is playing like a young AD for the Rams. That's Aaron Donald, not Anthony Davis, by the way. I hope he's like AD. By the way, that's crazy how that man went out with another injury today. By the way, but I'm not even going to go there. Not even going to go there. Oh, before I move on to the last thing I want to talk about, because actually it's so crazy. This show was pretty balanced. I had 2 things on offense I wanted to talk about. Michael Penix and Tyler Allgeier. Then I said I moved right real quick, just real quick stop to Brandon Dorless And by the way, F that pick, man. I'm not worried about the Rams having that pick. My thing is I want to, I guess at this juncture, just make sure it's not, I guess, top 10, because it's still gonna be a top 15 pick. But as far as away from it, but James Pierce Jr., man, that guy is something else. And then you still got Jalen Walker too, who also has 5.5 sacks in his own regard. Now he may end up with maybe 6. We'll see what happens with that. But I still believe James Pierce has the capability to end up with double-digit sacks this year. And you may be joined along with Brandon Dorless. So I'm not worried about that pick. As it is what it is, but we definitely have a bookend and James Pierce bookend and Jalen Walker, and 2 guys, if you want to build around the defense and add along with Dorless and other names, you can really kind of like fortify your defensive line and just get that defensive personality and be known for, hey man, what man, they got them doggone Falcons, man. Yeah, man, that Falcon defense, man, they ferocious. They come after us. They get after us. Yeah, I want folks to be continuously talking about the Falcons defense like that. Because honestly, this defense would be getting talked about even more if, so our record was flipped, so to speak. Even if we were, so like the record was flipped just a little bit, we in the hunt, but we would get talked about just a little bit more. Just a little bit. So that's another thing too. Jay Howard, you had a question. I want to get to that before my last segment. Said, would you trade London or Pitts for a second rounder? The only thing about Pitts, Pitts is going to have to be like designated for something, like he's going to have to be like a sign and trade. I believe you can still franchise tag and still trade too. So it have to be something like that. Something going to have to be on ink first before you even be able to do that. Now, London, you could still trade him for a second rounder, but I don't see the Falcons doing that right now. I really don't. I can see them really just trying to keep London and possibly Bajan together. Pitts may be the odd man out. I just don't feel like they're going to keep both guys. So again, I mean, you could just let Pitts walk and just be done with that. But if you wanted to try to, get something for him, you could go that route. London would be interesting because if they trade London, then that lets you know that they're definitely going wide receiver shopping somewhere else. Draft, free agency. And it's just hard to see the Atlanta Falcons right now saying, yeah, man, we're out on Drake. Considering the season that, yeah, he's going through some injuries right now, but considering the last 2 seasons of Drake London, really, if you want to look at it, the last 2.5 seasons of Drake London, and it's hard to look at the Falcons actually wanting to get rid of him right now. But I do feel, and you always like Big Bro Smitty should be always saying, do you want to pay him possibly $35 million though? Or do you want to pay Bajan $25 million and just make him the highest? So it is like a money thing too, but salaries can be tinkered. Salary caps can be tinkered. Things, contracts can get backloaded, front loaded, incentives, bells, whistles. We know that, and that's why you got to have guys that can understand that. Like you got like a guy like Terry Fontenot in that regard. Oh man, I've already really prepped my mind for it, bro. You know what? It needs to be an over under on that. How many times will they mention the trade on the Monday night broadcast? I want to say about 10. I want to say at least 10. Maybe you can get, let me see, maybe like 3 in the first quarter, maybe 3, maybe 2 in the second, possibly get it like once or twice in the third as well, and then finish on out with the fourth quarter, depending on how the game is going. because I can already hear, oh, the Falcons, this is important for them, important drive for the Falcons because they have that, they have that draft pick that they've already traded to the Rams, and they got to make sure to shoot. I'm sorry, I didn't mean no disrespect, but I'm just saying we know that's how it's going to kind of go. It's going to go somewhere in that realm to where it's getting brought up like that. So I'm gonna say at least 10. That's a good one right there. That should be an over/under on that, y'all. We should be able to parlay that. And again, from Trayshawn, and shout out to Trayshawn, man, of the Falcoholic. Excellent work from the young man over there, man. Like, really respect him. And he was saying Brandon Dorlus has had more sacks in his first single season than Grady Jarrett had in his Falcon career. But again, I just want to give him a little grace. For him to state his case, Grady Jarrett was the only thing we had for quite some time. Last thing. Pull it up right now. This is from Josh Kendall, the Athletic. Falcons released Jamal Agnew last week. Had planned to bring him back to the practice squad before Washington picked him up. Raheem Morris said, really brought him to give us a lift on special teams. Didn't get that provided to us, so we moved on to our younger guys. But wait. Falcons released Agnew last week. Had planned to bring him back on the practice squad before Washington picked him up. But you really brought him in to give you a lift on special teams, and he didn't provide that, so you moved on to younger guys. So why were you going to bring him back even on the practice squad? Why was that even a topic of discussion at all? That was a thing that was just weird to me. I was just like, oh, okay. You actually want to keep him around? I mean, Jamal Agnew has been, in this league, and has done some things for sure. But, and I mean, overall, in 11 games, he had 741 kick return yards, averaging 24.7 yards, punt return 114 total punt return yards, and that's 7.6. But he also had 3 fumbles. And this is also the most fumbles he's had in a season since 2017 when he was with the Detroit Lions. So he has 9 in his career, at least 1 every season. But he's had these turnovers 3 parts of the season that is hurt, including muff punts, all that stuff. And he's hurt you. So I don't understand about even wanting to bring back Jamal Agnew at all. And that's what, it's just one of those things that I look at it, and it goes back to the Young Wei Koo situation. And it just goes back to having like the emotional bank as he was stating before they had with Koo, and getting rid of Koo at the wrong times. And like, why are you still trying to keep guys who are not making a difference, really? Which also goes back to the special team coordinator still being here. Yeah, players got to execute out there, but you have to put them in the best positions to do that. And this special teams has been atrocious, but I mean, you can't just drop all the players because it can't be everybody. And this coaching, I feel like, it's just not, the message is not getting through fully or something with special teams. It has been the glaring shiner or black eye, for the Atlanta Falcons this season. Field position, flipping field position, giving other teams field position that they shouldn't have at certain parts of the game. So situational. It has just been bad. And it has hurt the Atlanta Falcons offense and defense because there are 3 phases. So, and you go back again, and it's like, but it was performance based with Jamal Agnew. He wasn't getting it done, and he was fumbling, which was hurting the team. 3 of them. You had to move on from them. But why even consider even putting them on the practice squad? Just move on. Because you moved on from Ike, but you haven't moved on from Marquise. And ultimately, I just want guys who's going to get it done. I think that's all fair for us Falcon fans. Just having guys that can get it done. T Terry said, "You want Worthy? You want Worthy for Pitts, man? I don't know, dog. I don't know, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll be for me. This is just me now. If Kansas City wants Pitts, right? Y'all can keep Worthy, but can we talk about that Rashid Rice guy? Now, if they want to talk about Rashid Rice, I'm possibly, if we're just talking about his capabilities, I'm possibly open about that. But that's another story, and that's another topic. John, what's happening, man? Bringing him back is like buying a toy at a yard sale and then taking it back to the yard sale and being like, nah, I don't want the toy no more. You know what I'm saying, man? Because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Merry Christmas, family. How you doing, Henry? Hope everything is going well for you. And I hope everybody is having a very, very Merry Christmas. I did not expect this show to be almost an hour. I'm not going to lie to you. But at the end of the day, man, this is what we do it for. I love doing this type of stuff, podcasting, talking sports, sharing opinions, involving you guys, because, this is what it's all about. And, I thank you for everybody who did tune in for this Hot Topics Atlanta Falcons holiday special. Right now, I would just want to say Merry Christmas again to everybody, because I know I'm about to go back and get into some festivities myself. While it's still kind of early, it's almost 8:30, so still going to get into some festivities. And I hope everybody's having a blessed night. You guys, so stay safe out there. And if you are watching from Smitty's channel, man, make sure y'all come over and give A1 Forever Sports a like, a comment. If you're not already subscribed, so thank you for everybody who's already subscribed to A1 Forever Sports. And also, give Hawks Digest a look over too, man. Atlanta Hawks Digest. Also, me and Walter Pollard over there building that. We just crossed 3,000 over there. So thank you to everybody who is already subscribed there. If you like basketball and if you enjoy the Atlanta Hawks. But guys, this has been a great live, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Y'all could have been anywhere else on Christmas, man. This is Christmas, but y'all already came in and, chopped it up with old A1 on Christmas Day for some holiday topics, few things, and y'all shared y'all opinions and y'all showed that as always. So I appreciate y'all. But until next time, y'all, man, also Twitter A1 Forever, Instagram A1 Forever, and the real A1 Forever on TikTok. Man, me and Smitty, we're going to see about also that post game for Monday Night Football. But we're going to see exactly what happens, for the rest of the weekend. I know it's still kind of holiday time. People are going to be traveling, doing their thing, still enjoying like the holiday season. But we're still going to try to push out some content. Also, again, going back to that post game, it's probably going to be pretty late if we do it that night. But if not, y'all make sure that y'all are, keeping an eye out, because most likely we're going to possibly do it like the following day on that Tuesday, which means the post game, the preview most likely for them Stanks, it's probably going to be pushed back too. So, but either way it goes, we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. But peace and blessings to you all, and to you all, I'll holler, you dig.